A Sister's Promise by Samantha Root. In 2015, I had a sister named Matilda. She had a drug addiction. I didn't understand what a drug addiction was at the time, and one day at dinner, she was saying that she's off the drugs, and we said, "Good, stay that way." And then she actually was hiding her drug addiction. Um, I kept telling her, "Stop using and you'll be okay." But it wasn't as easy as I thought it would be. She eventually passed away in 2016. When Matilda passed away, I didn't know about it until a couple days after. One day I was at the mall and I was coming towards the bus loop, and I saw what I thought I saw was Matilda sitting on the bench. She looked at me looking very sad, and I thought this was reality. So I waved at her and I said, "Hey, Matilda." And then I said, "I'm going to be late for my bus." So as soon as the bus like went past her, she was gone in a flash. And at the time, I didn't know she was passed away. I I was like, darn, I should have went over there and said hi to her. And I phoned my foster dad, Don, and I said, "Hey, I saw Matilda today." And he's like, "Oh, where did you see her?" I said, "I saw her at the mall. She looked sad and she said hi." And he said, "Oh, okay." And he's like, "Well, I gotta go." I said, "Okay, we'll talk to you later." So eventually I went home and I saw on Facebook that she passed away. And I phoned my foster family. I said, "Please tell me she didn't die." And they said, "Yes, she passed away." And it was very devastating for me because I was really sad and it affected me. And I just didn't believe that she was gone. So it still hurts me, even though it's been years. But yeah, anyways, that's about it. In 2020, I developed a drug addiction to crystal meth, and I didn't know how addicting it would be. I had this drug addiction for 5 years. I went to rehab in 2022. I was clean for a year and then relapsed again and did a couple more relapses after that close together. And I didn't understand how Matilda was struggling with her addiction. I finally understood because I went through an addiction like she did. And I believe that that was my purpose in life, was to understand Matilda and her drug addiction. And I had to experience it myself. So now I completely understand her drug addiction and my addiction. And when she passed away, I promised her that I would beat this depression for both of us. And I'm still working on myself with the drug addiction, but I'm getting stronger each day I go through this drug addiction. September 2020, when I did my drug addiction, I had passed away. I overdosed on heroin and I passed away. I went to hell first, and then I was in this total blackness. And then I heard Matilda's voice. She said, "Follow my voice." So I followed her voice, and eventually I went to the gates of heaven. I didn't really see anything, but they were white clouds at the gates of heaven. And then all of a sudden I hear God say, "It's not your time, go back." And then I like flashed down back to earth. I know it sounds crazy, but that's my experience. And I woke up in the ambulance, and the ambulance lady said, "Sweetheart, you overdosed on heroin." And I said, "Oh shit." And I got really sick, and my foster mom was scared to lose me, so she let me stay at her house for the night. And Linda, my foster mom, was afraid to lose another daughter of hers from a drug addiction. So I called her and told her that I was okay. And the fear in her voice was really sad. In 2023, I prayed to God about my drug addiction. I laid in bed, um, obviously confessing my sins and saying, "I'm sorry for this drug addiction." And I needed help, and prayed to Him really hard to help me with my drug addiction. And at the time, we didn't know if I had a bed for rehab. And as soon as I prayed to the Lord Jesus Christ for my help, a couple months later, I got in rehab. So I was really happy about that, and went to rehab December 2022. I think what I liked about rehab was meeting friends who had the same issue as I did, and experiencing psychosis, and being afraid to confess that you had a drug addiction. We did classes in rehab that we studied, like our self esteem and how to cope with the drug addiction and stuff like that. And I was really glad I got the help and was able to meet friends and learn how to talk to the staff there for help. And I was really good at helping other people when they came to rehab, and told them that it would be okay and everything like that. And eventually I discharged from level 1 to level 2, and I was in rehab for about 2 years. But I was really thankful and really happy to go back home, even though it was a sad moment to leave my friends. But to this day, we're still in touch with each other, so I'm glad Facebook could let us do that. If you have a drug addiction, don't be afraid to don't be afraid to reach out for help. It's the only thing that will keep you alive. Do not go in the dark. Go towards the light and just reach out for help. If you need anyone to talk to, I'm always here too. Thank you for listening to my story. Bye.